mistakes that human beings make is believing that there is only one way to live, and that we don't accept that there are diverse ways of being in the world, that there are millions of ways to be a human being, and many ways, but many paths to what you call God. And her path might be something else, and when she gets there, she might call it the light. But her loving and her kindness and her generosity brings her, if it brings her to the same point that it brings you, it doesn't matter whether she called it God along the way or not.
And I guess the danger that could be in that, I mean, it sounds great on the onset, but if you really look at both sides,
there couldn't possibly be just one way. What about Jesus? What about Jesus?
And you say there isn't only one way. There is one way and only one way, and that is through Jesus.
Do you believe that all roads lead to God, or all roads lead to heaven?
Yes, and I'd say they all believe that way, but they ain't all the way the Bible says.
All right, so what about God? Do you think all roads lead to God or heaven?
I don't know that I actually believe in God or heaven, for me personally. So, I think to me the benefit of religion, from my point of view, is the peace that you get inside, whether it's factual or not. People that feel like living is worth it is a lot nicer people. You know what I mean? Regardless of what religion you tend to be. Now, I think any religion can be abused and taken to some extreme that you're not a nice person. So in a sense, I guess no. But I think the question is sort of outside of my. I don't agree with the first part, so I can't tell you the second part. If that makes sense.
Religions cannot lead to God is because religions contradict each other about who God is, about the way to God, about what life with God for eternity offers and means. Example, Hinduism teaches that there are thousands of gods. If you'd have walked up to Muhammad and said, there are thousands of gods, he'd have taken his sword out and threatened you. Muhammad was deeply committed to monotheism, and he led the Arab people out of polytheism into monotheism. But then, obviously, Muhammad could not accept Jesus Christ's claim to be God in human form. This whole idea of monotheism in a Trinitarian form, Muhammad said, I'm sorry, that is false. That's idolatry to worship Jesus as God. So the law of non-contradiction applies. Two ideas cannot both be true when they contradict each other. It's impossible.
Religion, in a nutshell, is man's attempt to get right with God on their own. And if you want to picture this, think of a ladder, a huge ladder, and religion says that I'm going to climb up this ladder to reach to God. I'm going to climb up this ladder to go to heaven. And where the gospel of Jesus Christ is, where God comes down that ladder and he manifests himself as a human and dies on the cross so that we can be reconciled to God.
There's only one way that leads to God, and this is what separates a religion from a lifestyle. This is what separates faith in Jesus Christ from being just a plain old religious Christian or just a religious person.
So what about God? Do you think all roads lead to God, especially that's based on the religion? Do you think all of them can converge into maybe leading to God or heaven?
It's funny, we had this conversation this morning, my wife and I, and because we were talking about we're Christians, but people who are not Christians, and how we both respect non-Christians' ability to honor God in the way they do. So yeah, I think they all lead to God.
So do you think all roads lead to God or lead to heaven?
I think the basic principles for all religions are the same. Like, live a righteous life and you're guaranteed to go to heaven.
We understand that there are so many different viewpoints, so many ideologies dealing with, who's right? What I can say is the Bible is true, and what is written in the Bible is true. And so although there may be different opinions, at the end of the day, what is truth? Truth is not a what, truth is a whom. Truth is Jesus Christ. And so when Jesus said that I am the way, and I am the truth, and I am the light, he is right. And so he talks about how there are many ways that lead. Broad is the way that leads to destruction, and many there be that find it, but narrow is the way, and few there be that find life. And so we have to understand that these various religions and all these different ideologies and ideas of who man is and who God is and if God is real and if he's not, there is a God, and his name is Jesus Christ. His name is not Allah. His name is not Buddha or Confucius or whoever you want to call him. His name is Jesus Christ, and he lives and he reigns.
There's two different pictures that we're looking at. It's one where I'm going to earn my way to heaven. It's one where God says you cannot earn your way to heaven, so I'm going to come down and I'm going to save you so that you can not only get to heaven but to know the one true God.
Okay. So how do you feel that Christianity is different than other religions?
Christianity is through Jesus Christ. He went to the cross for us and died. And that's where salvation comes to the world. And that's where heaven, the hope of heaven comes.
So do you feel like Christianity is different than any other religion? Or than other, like, how do you feel Christianity differs from other religions?
I think it just differs in its approach towards reaching God. I think Christians reach God through Christ, and other religions reach him in whatever way they do.
And so why is Christianity different? Why is not all these other religions all lead to God? As I point to the person of Jesus Christ, I think he claimed to be God. I believe he claimed to be God. And that he raised from the dead, and so therefore I believe what he says, and he also said that he's the way, the truth, and the life, and so I think that anyone that wants to know God can seek God, and that they will find him, but God has also chosen to make himself known through the person and work of Jesus Christ. And so that's the difference, and it's not just the difference, but it's the most important part of knowing God is knowing his work in the person of Christ.
First of all, if you have many different options, right? You have all these different religions, and you just said that, you know, if they contradict each other, then maybe one of them has to be right and the rest have to be wrong, right? But then you have no reason why to choose Christianity over the others. If this is all a judgment call, and I think that this path is the best, like I see a path there and it's the best path for me. This is the path that's going to get me on the straight and narrow and it's going to make me a better person. Maybe it's not Christianity though. There's no saying, oh, why is Christianity the best?